Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. And in today's video, I'm going to be looking at various charts like the dollar, hash ribbons, gold and silver, etc. to get the bigger picture view of the overall market. And then we'll have a look at how Bitcoin fits into that bigger picture. Please make sure you stay till the end where I'll show you why the 25,200 level has a very high probability of a retracement and a good point to take short-term profits. So if that sounds interesting, then without further ado, grab yourself a cup of tea, sit yourself down, eyes on the screen, and let's load up the Bitcoin vault. Okay, so before I begin, the usual polite reminder, please remember all my videos are for educational purposes, so do make sure you do your wider research before you make any investment decisions. And the title of the video today is The Sign Everyone Missed and Why 95% of people will lose out on this big move that's coming. We've just had the weekly close last night here of this candle. Now this candle on a weekly chart is extremely powerful. It is what we call the gravestone doji candle, and you usually find this at the top of a big trend here. And if I can remind people why this is important, if we go back to 2019 with the Bitcoin chart, this was the candle we printed back in June 2019, and this was a big sign of what was to follow afterwards. Not only have we closed on a gravestone doji candle on a weekly chart, but we've also closed below the 8 EMA, the blue moving average line here, the exponential moving line here, which is going to provide further resistance to the upside for the dollar. Now that doesn't mean it can't go up. It can go right up to this level here and still get rejected to the downside. But it is a very high probability that this is the top of the market at this point here at 113. That's where it is. Of course it's been as high as around 114.15, but this candle here is now telling us that the market seems to have popped out. Please remember, this is all about probabilities, not certainties or guarantees. We can only read the charts as they're telling us with the various signs like these candlestick patterns. The big sign will come on the monthly chart. As you know, if you've been following my channel, back in March when we lost the 8 EMA, this blue line here on the Bitcoin chart, that's when I made the video on Bitcoin that we are in a 12-month bear market. And this is the big sign that's going to be here. If the dollar can close a monthly candle below this level here at around about 107 currently, but obviously as it comes down, this will move further down a little bit or sideways. So once we break the 8 EMA on the monthly chart, that will be confirmation that the dollar is on its way down. And if you look in the past, this is exactly what's happened here. This was the candle where we lost the 8 EMA back in April 2017. That was the big sign that the dollar is on its way down. And what happened to Bitcoin from April 2017? From April 2017 here, this was the beginning of the massive blow off top of 2017 that we got, resulting in a 20,000 blow off. So that was where it all started there. Obviously we were in a bull market up to that point, but this is where it really started, the blow off top, the final phase of the 2017 bull market that we had. Obviously before that happens, we could have a period of 5, 6, 7 months here of the dollar going sideways before it breaks through, but that's the big sign there. And during this 5, 6, 7 months could be the point where Bitcoin starts to rise in its next phase. So only time will tell, but these are the signs that everybody seems to be missing. But going back to the weekly chart, look what's just happened here on the RSI. What we've now got is a bearish divergence on a large time frame, i.e. the weekly chart. So from this point onwards, we made a higher high up to this point on the price, but made a lower high on the RSI, causing a big divergence which may well be playing out here now to the downside. And the confluence of this doji candle here and the 8 EMA being broken lends a lot of weight for that narrative to play out. Okay, moving on to the hash ribbons. I've shown you this chart many times in the past, and what we're waiting for is confirmation of the bull market with a sign from the hash ribbons. If you look back over the last 12 years, whenever we get the buy signal here in the hash ribbons, that always proves to be a massive sign that we're about to start on a big bull run here. And in the first cycle here, we got 3 blue buy dots here, telling us that each time to get on board to buy the ticket on the Bitcoin train. And after the bear market of the first cycle at the end of 2014, we got another 3 more dots here, telling us exactly the same thing, that we're about to start the next bull market. And at the end of the 2018 bear market here, we got the first sign at the bottom of the bear market in 2018, and then we got a series of 3 dots initially here around the COVID-19 situation, then a further one, a 4th one just after, and finally after we topped out at 64, we got this blue dot which was telling us that we're going to have another further run to the upside. So these blue dots have been a sign which have been 100% accurate in predicting the beginning of a big bull rally from that point onwards. So the question is, what is it saying now? If we move the chart to the left to have a look, you can see that after each of the green dots, we get a buy signal here. So what we're really waiting for is another of these blue dots over here that would confirm the beginning of the bull market over here. We know that this is imminent because when we look at the settings at the hash ribbons over here, currently is set at 30 days. And we know that if we reduce it by a few days, we'll know exactly when this is about to hit. So that tells you within the next 5 days, we will be getting that sign. And I think we need to take notice of that. It's very clear whenever we get the blue dots, we get a rally to the upside. And those with a discerning eye will have noticed that on the RSI, whenever we go below the red lines here, it's only a few times we do. Currently, we've just come out of that, and I showed you this many videos ago. Those points mark the end of the bear market. There. And the first one over here. So these are all signs telling us which direction the bigger move for the Bitcoin price is going to be. Okay, I'm going to move on to the MACD chart, and this is on a 12-day time frame. The reason why I've chosen the 12-day time frame is because on that time frame, we've only had a handful of these crosses, and they always occur at the bottom of the bear market, and they haven't been wrong up to now. The first one we got was back here in May 2012, and this was at the bottom of this bear trend here, and it led to this afterwards. The next one was back in May 2015 at the end of this bear market. We got it right here just before the market took off for the next bull run. The third one was at the end of this bear market at the end of 2018. Right at the bottom of this bear market, we got one of these bullish crosses right here. So what's happening now? Look exactly where we are. So in the history of Bitcoin, we've only had 3 of these, and we're just crossing over now on the 4th one at the bottom of this bear market now. I'll leave it to you to decide where this could possibly go. If you have a closer look, you can see that we've crossed already here. So only time will tell, but these are all tentative signs of what's about to happen to Bitcoin. So once again, on the bigger picture view, if we have a look at the monthly chart for gold, we can see that when we topped out here at around about 2070, we've had a series of 7 red candles to the downside. And now, for the first time, we're getting a throwback with a green candle. Obviously, there's a long way to go for this month, but it's just showing certain signs of life back towards the upside. Similarly, for silver, it looks like silver bottomed out with this green candle here at around about 17.5. And for the last 3 months, we've been making a series of higher lows. And we're just recapturing currently the 8 EMA. So how does that all fit in with Bitcoin? A couple of videos ago, I showed you the cycles and how the cycles play out on a 60-day cycle period with Bitcoin. And this is the current cycle. The 60-day cycle started here from this low, and we topped out after just 6 days over here which was a very bad sign that we may well have a long way to go in the 60-day cycle to go much, much further. And there was a danger to go below the 17.5 when I saw this happening here. However, what's transpired is something completely the other way around, because the 60-day cycle from here would have taken it to 6th of November, which is yesterday. So we would have been expecting, once we'd topped out here at this point, we would have expected a fall into the 60-day low cycle here to create the next cycle to the upside. However, we must always let the Bitcoin price dictate our narrative. But instead of doing that, it turned around from a much higher place over here and created a new higher high into the 21.5 marker here. So these are signs that you look for to see a turnaround happening. And while we would have expected the market to have bottomed out on the 60-day cycle anywhere around here or even gone further down, this has gone completely against the trend. And to me, this is telling me increasingly that this 17.5 is the bottom. But as I've said before many times, we need confirmation of that once we get above the 25.2, but we do need to be paying attention to these little signs that are going on in the market, in the Bitcoin price, so we don't get caught out. Another sign to look out for in terms of a turnaround in the market is the 8 EMA on the weekly chart. As you can see currently, this is where we're at. We've had 2 closes above the 8 EMA, and this is the 3rd week now. So as long as we close at the end of this week above the 20,350 level, then that would be the first time we have 3 closes above the 8 EMA since we topped out here in November 2021. And since then, as you can see, we've had this 8 EMA providing an incredible amount of resistance all along. And we had a fake out over here and a fake out over here. On both occasions, there were just 2 candles. But this one, if this is a 3rd candle that closes above the 8 EMA at 20,350, around there, that would be a very nice tentative sign that we're moving back towards the upside. And we need to take note of this. Okay, at the beginning of the video, I said that there's a level at which there's a high probability that Bitcoin was going to have a retracement. And for those people who are doing swing trades, will have a very good opportunity to actually take some profits. In fact, there are 2 levels actually here. The first one I've drawn in for you, which is at 22.5, anywhere between 22,400 to 22,800 over here. And the reason for that is that if you look at the 200 simple moving average on the daily chart, that's exactly where it's heading towards, around here. So while we're making our move on the price here, we're probably going to get a confluence of this line around about the 22.5 level. And if we put the Bollinger Bands on, you can see that the Bollinger Bands are also aiming for that side. So it may well be that we've got a confluence of quite a few indicators at this level. And obviously this is a level where there's a horizontal resistance point here and many times along here as well. So you need to keep this level in mind between 22,400 and the top of this, which is about 22,800 over here. If you look at the bigger picture on the daily chart here, we can see that when we topped out at 69,000 and fell below the 200 simple moving average, that provided a very strong resistance at that point there. And if we do manage to get above this falling line at the 22.4, and if we do get rejected at this point here, at this falling 200 simple moving average, the next level is obviously going to be this $25,000 mark here. So should we get above this falling 200 simple moving average, then the next level, which is a very strong level over here, as we can see, there is a very high probability that we're going to get rejected at these levels. Because if you look on the weekly chart, the Bollinger Bands are squeezing together, as you can see here. And that tells us that there's an imminent move in the next few weeks coming along. So if the price does start to move to the upside, the Bollinger Bands will go back up towards that 25,000, providing confluence once again. And we know what happens at the Bollinger Bands. With a high degree of probability, we tend to get rejected at these top levels and then at these support levels over here, and similarly over here and there. So time and time again, these Bollinger Bands prove to be very good points at which to make decisions to take profits. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. What I wanted to do in this video is to paint a bigger overall picture with the gold market, with the silver market, having a look at the dollar and showing you a wider perspective of all of those markets are now turning around in the right direction for Bitcoin. Please remember, in these markets, there's nothing guaranteed, there's no certainties. It's all about possibilities and probabilities, and everyone has to make up their mind by looking at the charts and letting the charts dictate your decisions going forward. So I hope you found value in the video, and if you did, then please do remember to like and to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. And if you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.